Is that the man himself over there?
It's me. How you doing, Paulie?
So you ready to go?
I'm game.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Wipe this thing off.
Hi, Ori.
Hello.
Where are you now?
I'm at home in LA, in Crazy Land, in my Lotus jungle room studio.
Light some incense so we can match her, will you? Light some incense so we can
I
match.
know, right? Bring in the hippie vibes.
Yeah, I like it. So, Ori, I've got questions for you. Maybe you have some questions for me. You good for that?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to ask you stuff I've never asked you. All right.
Okay.
If you weren't a musician, what would you be doing for a living, Ori?
Probably feeding animals at a zoo or a chef. They're the two things that I think that I'd be okay at. I wouldn't get fired from because I love food. I'm half Greek, so naturally that would be my thing. And then feeding animals, you can't really get fired from that. I could overfeed them, which would probably happen.
Did you ever see the Australian movie Tracks about the woman that walks halfway across Australia with a couple of camels and a dog?
I haven't. I'm going to check that one out.
It's a great movie.
So it's called Tracks. Right?
It's a wonderful movie. Adam Driver from the Star Wars movie is in it.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I haven't checked that one out. Well, I'll watch that tonight.
That's a great movie. All right. So we've done some very interesting appointments on guitars for you. I have my favorite, but of all these art guitars that we've made you, which is your favorite?
Oh, my God. That's hard. It's like with children, picking your favorite. I'll pick my favorite animal. I don't have children, but I have animals. But so you know,
I don't like parents that pick their favorite kid. Not a good idea.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think this is a good idea right now. But I think the purple one that was recently made, that one is pretty damn beautiful. And I got to tell you, the pickups you put in that one, the purple with the lotus, you know, the lotus flowers, the vine of life down the neck. The pickups in that one just soar. It has a really beautiful tone to it. So probably that one right now.
What about the one with the crystals?
The crystal, that one had such great energy because I used it with Michael Jackson, of course. But yeah. I gotta tell you, playability wise and sound wise, the purple one, there is something very special about those pickups. I don't know which one you used in them, but it sustains and it's glorious.
All right. So you have my heart. When you're after the tone and not the look, in the end, that's good.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you make pieces of art too. They look like pieces of crap. You know what I mean? It's like they're amazing looking, the instruments, but they sound so beautiful. And the thing is, they're so versatile too. But that one, for some reason, when I'm playing without a pick or whatever, it's just very sweet. The tone you can pull when you have it on the neck pickup. It's a really deep tone and it sustains amazing. It really does.
All right. So let me ask you another question I've never asked you. So what's the first on stage memory you have that sticks out as a really sweet thing that, you know, you've never told anybody?
On stage moment. Oh my God. You have to be a lot of early on stuff, like when I first came over, even like when I first came over and started playing now, you know, with you guys and getting up on stage, and you invited me very graciously to your jams, which were completely staff packed with like Carlos Santana to, you know, anyone was coming up and jamming. There were incredible musicians and yourself. And I was like this 17-year-old, you know, kind of like freaking out, you know what I mean? And geeking out. And honestly, those moments I still hold like as very special because, you know, it's kind of getting thrown into those situations too, where you're jamming out and you would turn to me, take a solo or whatever. And I'd be like, holy shit, to do, like, you know, and it was, and being put in the spot like that is being thrown into the ocean. And that prepared me for later on stuff, which came about with, you know, whether it be Michael Jackson, Alice Cooper, you know, doing all these big things and being on stage like that, it's like, you know, it's preparation, and also a lot of like, I don't know, just great energy, you know, because those nights were just really special. And the first time I got up with Carlos when I was 18 well, actually, no, I think I was 17 actually, in Australia, Adelaide, Australia, when I got up at Memorial Drive.
That's
He
right.
invited me up there. That was insane. Those moments, yeah. Truly.
So I've never told this story, but now I'll tell it. I heard your first record, and I didn't know it was you. And I said, where did you get this Carlos Santana record that I've never heard? And they said, that's not Carlos Santana. That's a 13-year-old girl from Australia. I said, what? And I got it, and I put it in my car. And the next day I dialed your dad, and I said, I want her to come to the States. I'll take care of her. He goes, I think she's a little young. I'm like, no. We're bringing her to the States, and that's the end of that. He goes, I don't think so. So there's another story like that. I don't know if you know this, but Dennis Chambers got invited to be in James Brown Band at 13, and his mother said no.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, so we finally, so then Carlos remembers the CD that I sent him and asked you to play with him, and then your parents said yes.
That's exactly what happened. Carlos, you told Carlos about me, and then I bombarded him with press kits and everything, and I had this whole, I was such a hustler back then. Like, I just had the press kits made, the list, I send out to everybody. I was like, we're going to the post office, spending all this, because I'm getting a record deal, and I'm moving to America, everybody, and I'm buying a Cadillac. And I told everybody that, like this obnoxious 6-year-old, till I was about, 14, and I was just like literally printing up stuff, and I just wanted it to happen because I wanted a career in music. That's all I wanted. As soon as I picked up the guitar for the first time, and my dad got me my first PRS, which was actually from the old factory. It was a 1987 model, I believe, 1986, 87. It was this amazing guitar, and I still have it, and I love it. And I couldn't put it down. And that just was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, because I don't think I could do anything else. I'd get too bored and fired.
You were the only artist that grew up with the rotary switch. So for you, it was fine. But
Yes.
all the other people grew up with toggle switches, so I had to switch it. But you were the one person that grew up with the rotary and said, nah, I like the rotary. I'm cool with that. Because that's what I grew up with, right?
Honestly, yeah. And I did both. I love them. I love them both. And it's like, it's a strange thing. It's because I just got so used to it. Because I used to play it for 5-6 hours a day when I was 11. I wouldn't put that thing down. And I wore out Sacred Fire live in Mexico, Santana VHS was completely
wonderful. It's actually a good concert. Really good.
That's my favorite. His solos are so inspiring to anyone who's not seen that live performance. It's just the most beautiful atmosphere. The way when he goes into Samba Patty and when he goes into Europa. I mean, how beautiful is that tone, right?
It was really good. So Carlos has the ability to play to the last person in the last corner of a stadium that's going to the bathroom and get him to sing a melody. He's a stadium guitar player, and he's really, really good at it. And he's really good as a radio guitar player. I mean, it's a very, very rare quality. Adam Fells turned to me once, as Carlos's personal assistant, and he goes, sometimes I forget how really good he is. I mean, because he works for him, right? But we were standing there, and Carlos was drilling it. Just drilling it, playing melodies to the huge stadium crowd. What a skill! What a skill!
He's almost like unconscious. He goes out there and he just lets it flow through him, and the light energy that he works with is incredible. And that's what really drew me to Carlos when I was 11 and I first heard him play Europa. I was like, oh my God! Like, you can make a guitar sound like that. You can make people. You can move people like that. You know what I mean? And it was just a deep, life-changing moment for me. So
cool. So, Ori, you have some questions for me?
I do, yes. So your first ever guitar that you ever built.
Oh, cool.
What kind of
did I build or I owned?
That you built yourself. So what kind of woods did you use for that? And what kind of pickups and everything?
Ori, it's really simple.
Yeah.
It's really simple. I did it by the book. The first thing I did was I built a body and bolted a neck on it.
Okay.
Second thing I did was built a body and then a single cutaway body and with one pickup and made a Les Paul Jr. single cutaway guitar. And the third thing I did was make a double cutaway guitar with a double cutaway neck joint and two pickups and one pickup. And then I put two pickups on. I did it literally one step after the other that you would learn. Your first song you learned was Proud Mary, and the second song you learned was, Heard It Through the Grapevine, and the third, Stay With Me, or, I did it literally in order.
Oh, wow. And what kind of woods did you use for that?
Well, the same woods that the guitars that I was doing. A mahogany neck, mahogany body.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. At that point, I used a Badass bridge and shallow tuning pegs, and I would buy, some sort of extra P90 pickup that was at Air Shop, and then I made a wooden cover for it because I didn't have a molding machine. So the first things had wooden covers. Look, I did it literally in order.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does that kid know to do that? That's the question.
A lot of people do know this, but you're an amazing guitar player yourself, an artist. You fucking play amazing. What album really inspired you the most as a kid to want to play guitar and really got you just were like, okay, I want to play guitar now. Like, this is a life-changing.
Somewhere between the first Hendrix record, the Allman Brothers live record, some early Ritchie Blackmore stuff, but the Santana stuff. Listen, I spent months learning how to do this. Now that's without an amp. How did he do that? How did he play two notes and make it sound like a monster? And I knew it wasn't the amp and the guitar. So I spent months figuring. That's from Barbaletta, I think. I spent months trying to figure out how he did that. And I would try to get those tones, the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, what a sound. And I spent a lot of time on the feeling and the vibrato, the I spent more time on my vibrato than I did on my chord changes, because the guys that had a wiggle could get a feeling, and the guys without a wiggle couldn't get a feeling, right? Or the girls, right?
It's true. Honestly, the first time I heard B.B. King, was when.
What a wiggle!
I mean, I was like, I would sit there for hours trying vibrato, and the bar chords and vibrato were the two things. I was like, okay, this is going to take me a minute. This is going to take me a minute. So, you do it until your fingers are just bleeding and just don't even kind of resemble hands. They're just like, oh my God. And then you just step away from it and then you redo it and you just keep on going until you sort of get it.
I learned every single line that Paul Rogers sang on Fire and Water on the guitar. Oh, I wept for days. I would learn every single line that he sang. Oh, I wept for days. Fill my eyes with silly tears. Oh, I would not be crying. Oh,
right.
God, what a record. The guy sang so good. And he came from Sam Cooke, right? I'm sure you can't sing like Paul Rogers if you didn't listen to Sam Cooke. That ain't gonna happen. I mean, I'd have to interview him about it, but that's what I think.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, seriously, freaking amazing singer. Absolutely. I have one more question for you too. So you asked me what my favorite guitar is. What is one of your favorite guitars that you've ever built? Do you have? That's a hard question.
No, it's actually not. I made a guitar for Carlos, and he loved it. And I made him another one, and he loved it. I made him a second one, and he was coming to the Warner Theater to play. and he had wanted the exact same guitar but with a tone control on it. And I was at the Constitution Hall, and Carlos comes out and he greets everybody, hi, you know, and he puts on his guitar, but he puts on the new guitar. And he turns around to the tech and he goes, my guitar has no high end, turn the high end up. The guy says, turn up the tone control. Carlos says, Mike turns around, goes, my guitar doesn't have a tone control. Turn up the high end. He goes, turn up the tone control. Carlos goes, my guitar doesn't have a tone control. And he takes the guitar and he goes, where's Paul? He didn't know he was holding a different guitar. It didn't feel any bit different. Not one little teeny bit. The only difference was that it had a tone control. And I was behind his amp and I went, I'm over here. Now, I'm proud of that moment, that he couldn't tell the difference. And he'd been touring with that guitar, and he played the one with the tone control all night.
Wow.
And that was a good moment because it was duplicatable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I used the same woods. It was the same jigs to carve the neck. Had done all the same things, right? And he didn't know he was holding a different guitar. Now that I'm proud of.
That's
the other thing I'm proud of is the guitars that I made back then don't look that much different than the one I'm making now. Pickups are a little different. A few extra switches. This was made by the guitar school at PRS. I have a guitar school. The employees made this. And I put one hell of a ding in it the other day. Look at that thing. Oh, I'm proud of that.
You know what? As character.
Why not? I have a story now, right?
At least it's on the back, though. It's all good.
Ori, you've been concerned about tone and feel, and I think that's an important message for everybody. And how much work it's going to take you to get a vibrato, how much work, I spent all this time studying. It's not so easy.
It's not easy at all. And the different vibratos you can get too. It's like, you want slow vibrato or fast, like, you want to go. It depends on how you want it, or you want a bend, as well. Like you know what I mean? And it just like get right at the end, or you want to go complete like Stevie Ray, where he attacks the string like a cat. You know what I mean? It's like I haven't got a pick on me right now. All of my picks I think my cat eats my picks.
We call it the floor monster.
The floor monster, or a Persian cat, one of the two.
So, Ori, thanks for being on. I'm glad everybody's safe. This has been a very interesting day. And my best to you and your family. And I appreciate you being on, dear.
Much love to you and your family. Please stay safe. And I can't wait to actually see you again for everything to get back to normal. So thank you for having me. Seriously.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Much love. Take care.